A healthy love will never make you question your worth. If it does, it's not love, it's control. Have you ever found yourself lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering why something that's supposed to feel like love feels more like a storm you can't escape? Maybe you've caught yourself making excuses for someone's behavior, telling yourself it's just how they are, even though deep down it hurts every single time. Or maybe you've noticed that the girl you used to be, the one who laughed freely, dreamed boldly, and felt confident in her own skin, has slowly started to fade away. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. So many young women go through this silent battle, thinking they're the only ones when in reality, it's one of the most common struggles of modern relationships. Welcome back to your own channel, Limitless Lectures. Today, we're going into something that every girl deserves to know: the signs of a toxic relationship and how to protect yourself from falling deeper into one. Because here's the truth: love should never feel like walking on eggshells. It should never drain you, silence you, or make you feel small. And yet, so many of us mistake toxicity for passion, or control for care, until we're left questioning who we even are anymore. I want you to imagine this for a moment. You're holding a beautiful glass vase. It's delicate, valuable, and it shines when the light hits it. That vase is you, your heart, your dreams, your self-worth. Now imagine someone keeps tapping it over and over with little cracks forming each time. At first you think, it's fine, it's just a small crack. But over time, those cracks spread and one day the vase shatters. That's what a toxic relationship does. It doesn't always break you in one big moment. It chips away at you slowly, until you barely recognize yourself. The first sign you need to pay attention to is when your voice starts to feel silenced. Maybe you used to share your opinions freely, but now you hesitate because you're afraid of how they'll react. You find yourself thinking, if I say this, will they get angry? Will they ignore me? Will they twist my words? That constant second-guessing is not love, it's control. A healthy partner listens, even when they disagree. They don't make you feel like your thoughts are a burden. If you've noticed that your voice has grown quieter in your own relationship, that's not a coincidence. It's a warning. And here's the thing: silence doesn't just happen overnight. It creeps in slowly. Maybe it starts with a sarcastic comment when you share your dreams. Then it turns into dismissive eye rolls when you talk about your friends. Eventually, you stop sharing altogether because it feels safer to keep things inside. But let me tell you this: your voice matters. Your dreams matter. And anyone who makes you feel otherwise is not protecting your heart. They're suffocating it. The second sign is when love starts to feel like a roller coaster you never asked to ride. One moment, they're showering you with affection, making you feel like the most important person in the world. The next, they're cold, distant, or even cruel. That push and pull cycle is addictive. It keeps you hanging on, waiting for the good version of them to come back. But here's the truth: real love is steady. It doesn't make you question where you stand. It doesn't leave you feeling dizzy, drained, or desperate for scraps of affection. Think about it like this. Imagine you're standing in the sun, feeling its warmth on your skin. That's what healthy love feels like. Consistent, comforting, always there. Now imagine someone keeps pulling you into the shade, then back into the sun, then into the shade again. After a while, you're not enjoying the warmth anymore. You're just exhausted from the constant change. That's what toxic love does. It tricks you into thinking the highs are worth the lows, when in reality, The lows are slowly breaking you down. If you've ever felt like you're chasing after the version of someone you first fell for, hoping they'll come back, I want you to pause and ask yourself, why should love feel like a chase? Why should you have to earn consistency? You deserve someone who shows up for you every single day, not just when it's convenient for them. And here's the empowering truth I want you to hold on to. Recognizing these signs is not weakness. It's strength. It means you're waking up to the reality that you deserve better. It means you're choosing to protect your heart, your peace, and your future. Because the moment you start to see the cracks, you also start to see the way out. So, if any of this resonates with you, I want you to take a deep breath and remind yourself, you are not too much, you are not too sensitive, and you are not asking for too much. You are simply asking for the kind of love that honors you, respects you, and allows you to grow. And that kind of love is not only possible, it's the only kind worth holding on to. If you've ever felt silenced, or if you've ever been caught in that exhausting cycle of highs and lows, I'd love for you to share your thoughts in the comments. Not because you owe anyone your story, but because your words might be the exact thing another girl needs to hear, to realize she's not alone. And if this message is speaking to you, don't forget to like this video and share it with a friend who might need it too. Because here's the truth. The more we talk about these signs, the more power we take back. And the more power we take back, the harder it becomes for toxic love to keep winning. Sometimes the hardest part about being in a toxic relationship is that you don't even realize how much it's changing you. Until one day you look in the mirror and barely recognize the girl staring back. You used to be full of energy, excited about your passions, confident in your choices, but now it feels like you're constantly drained, second-guessing yourself, and walking around with a weight on your chest that never seems to lift. That heaviness is not love. It's a warning sign. The third sign of a toxic relationship is when your self-worth starts to shrink. Maybe you've noticed that the things you once loved about yourself, the way you laugh, the way you dress, the way you dream, are suddenly being criticized or belittled. It might start small, like a comment about your outfit or a joke about your goals. But over time, those little digs add up, and you begin to wonder if maybe they're right. Maybe you're not good enough. Maybe you're not smart enough. Maybe you're not worthy of better. But let me tell you something powerful. The way someone treats you is not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of theirs. A healthy partner will never make you feel like you have to shrink yourself to fit into their comfort zone. They will celebrate your light, not dim it. If you've ever felt like you're becoming smaller just to keep someone else happy, that's not love. It's control disguised as care. Think of it like a flower. When a flower is placed in the right environment with sunlight, water, and space, it blooms beautifully. But if you put that same flower in the dark, deprive it of water, and keep it confined, it will wither. You are that flower, and if someone is making you wither instead of bloom, it's not because you're weak. It's because they're not giving you the environment you deserve to thrive. The fourth sign is when boundaries are constantly crossed. Boundaries are not walls. They're doors. They're the way you teach people how to treat you, and they're essential for healthy love. But in a toxic relationship, boundaries are often ignored, dismissed, or even mocked. Maybe you've said, "I don't like it when you go through," my phone, or I need some space to spend time with my friends, only to be met with guilt trips, anger, or manipulation. That's not respect. That's control. And here's the truth. When someone repeatedly crosses your boundaries, what they're really saying is, my comfort matters more than your peace. That's not love. Love honors boundaries. Love listens when you say no. Love doesn't make you feel guilty for protecting your own heart. I want you to imagine this. You're standing in your own home, and you've locked the door because you need rest. But someone keeps banging on it, demanding to be let in, even though you've said no. Eventually, they break the lock and walk in anyway. That's what it feels like when boundaries are ignored. You no longer feel safe in your own space. And every girl deserves to feel safe, respected, and heard in her relationship. So if you've noticed that your boundaries are being crossed again and again, I want you to remember this. Setting boundaries is not selfish. It's self-respect. And anyone who truly loves you will respect those boundaries, not fight against them. Now, I know this can feel overwhelming. Maybe as you're listening, you're realizing that some of these signs sound uncomfortably familiar. And that realization can be scary, because it forces you to face the truth that the relationship you're in might not be as healthy as you hoped. But here's the empowering part. Awareness is the first step to freedom. The moment you recognize these patterns, you take back your power. You stop being a passenger on someone else's roller coaster and start steering your own life again. And I want you to hold on to this. You are not defined by the way someone else treats you. You are not defined by their moods, their words, or their actions. You are defined by the strength you carry inside you, the dreams you refuse to give up on, and the love you choose to give yourself. If this is resonating with you, I'd love for you to share in the comments what boundaries you've learned to set in your own life. Not only does it help you reflect, but it might also inspire another girl who's struggling to realize that she has the right to set boundaries too. And if you're finding value in this conversation, don't forget to like this video and share it with someone who might need a reminder of their worth. Because the truth is, the more we talk about these signs, the more we break the silence that toxic love thrives on. And the more we break that silence, the more we empower each other to demand the kind of love that lifts us up instead of tearing us down. You know, the most heartbreaking thing about toxic relationships is that they don't just hurt you in the moment. They leave scars that can make you doubt yourself long after they're over. But here's the truth I want you to hold on to. Scars don't mean you're broken. They mean you survived. They mean you're stronger than you realize. And they mean you have the power to choose differently moving forward. When you start to recognize the signs, when you notice your voice being silenced, your self-worth shrinking, your boundaries being crossed, you're not just identifying problems. You're reclaiming your power. You're saying, I deserve better than this. And that shift, that moment of clarity, is where healing begins. But healing doesn't just happen by walking away. Healing happens when you start to rebuild yourself piece by piece. It's in the small choices, choosing to spend time with people who uplift you, choosing to chase the dreams you once put on hold, choosing to speak kindly to yourself instead of repeating the cruel words someone else planted in your mind. Every time you make one of those choices, you're reminding yourself that you are worthy of love, respect, and peace. And I want you to remember this. Love is not supposed to feel like a battlefield. It's not supposed to leave you drained, anxious, or questioning your worth. Real love feels safe. It feels steady. It feels like home. And if you haven't found that yet, don't settle for less, because the love you accept sets the standard for the love you'll receive. Now, let's take this conversation deeper, because while we've talked about practical steps and emotional awareness, there's also a spiritual truth that can't be ignored. In Islam, we are reminded again and again that our worth is not defined by how someone else treats us. It's defined by Allah, who created us with dignity and honor. The Quran tells us that we were created in the best form, and no one has the right to strip that away from us. Think about the women in early Islamic history, the Sahabiyat who stood strong in the face of trials. Take the example of Khadija, R.A., the wife of the Prophet Muhammad Sheikh Sallallahu. She was a woman of immense strength, dignity, and independence. She supported the Prophet with unwavering love and respect, and their relationship was built on mutual trust and honor. That's the model of love Islam gives us, not one of control or manipulation, but of partnership and compassion. Or consider Asma bint Abu Bakr, D.O.R.A., who endured hardship with patience and resilience. She didn't allow the challenges of her life to define her worth. Instead, she leaned on her faith, her courage, and her inner strength. These women remind us that true empowerment doesn't come from clinging to someone who breaks us. It comes from standing firm in our values, our faith, and our self-respect. So if you're struggling right now, if you feel trapped in a relationship that's draining your soul, I want you to know this: you are not alone, and you are not powerless. Your strength lies not just in walking away from what harms you, but in walking toward what heals you. And the greatest source of healing is turning back to Allah, who promises that with every hardship comes ease. When you anchor yourself in faith, you realize that no human being has the power to define your worth. You realize that patience is not about tolerating abuse. It's about trusting that Allah has something better for you when you choose to honor yourself. And you realize that the love you're searching for, the love that feels safe and steady, begins with the love of Allah, who never abandons you. So let this be your reminder. You are worthy of love that uplifts you, not love that breaks you. You are worthy of respect, dignity, and peace. And you are worthy of a life where your voice is heard, your boundaries are honored, and your heart is safe. If this message touched you, I'd love for you to share your thoughts in the comments. Not just for me, but for the other girls who might be scrolling through feeling lost and needing to hear that they're not alone. And if you found value in this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because together, we can create a community where every girl feels empowered to demand the love and respect she deserves. And as you move forward, I want you to carry this with you. Your worth is not up for debate. It is not defined by someone else's moods, words, or actions. It is defined by the one who created you, honored you, and promised you that you are never alone. Hold on to that truth and let it guide you toward the kind of love and life you truly deserve.